Hey guys, Evil209 here. It is Ard Boyz Day. We are on our way to Gatehouse Games, getting ready to play in round 1 of Ard Boyz. There's Chad, and I'm following him there because I have no idea where I'm going. We're heading down early. We're going to grab some lunch, talk some strategy, see how we do today. So let's see how it goes. Looking forward to it. Alright guys, here we are. Gatehouse Games. Let's take a look at some of these tables. They've got some really sweet custom-made tables. Got this trench here, kind of reminds you of charging the beaches of Normandy over there. That's going to be fun. Some cardboard terrain over there. Nice little winter table. We got quite a few good looking tables. This is going to be fun to play down here. Not seeing a lot of line of sight blocking terrain, which is good for my long tanks. Got some orcs. See a monolith over there. Wonder if we're going to see some Necron action in here. Here we are back at our little base station. There are the boys. We'll get you. Alright, here we are, round 1. I'm playing an all-foot Space Marine. A whole bunch of Terminators over there. Back there in that corner, there's my dirty traitor. Here is my setup over here. I've basically kind of done a refuse right. We are going to see how it goes. My opponent has turn 1. I tried to seize and failed, so it is off to his turn. Alright, so Night Flight kind of affected our first turn. Basically, he just ran forward. The story of this one, dangerous terrain, took out 2 Terminators for me, and Night Flight prevented me from getting shot. So we are going to move on to my turn 1. So my turn 1 was pretty uneventful. There's no shooting because Night Flight kind of stinks and we're kind of really far apart on this first one, so turn 2 should get interesting. Move the Thunderwolf Cav, kind of shuffled around to try to get some cover saves. I'm deferring to my opponent's turn 2. Alright, so my opponent's turn 2 is complete. He's basically moved forward with this mass. He did manage to blow Stormbolter off here and immobilize that Rhino. Other than that, that's it. We're moving on to my turn. We're top 3. Alright, so bottom of my second turn, I ended up taking 1 Terminator out here and a couple of the Debbie squads who still need to make their check, by the way.
That's why we have 2 dice here.
Correct, exactly. Let's see how they go. They're perfectly fine. My opponent's turn. Alright, so this one's going quick. We're at the end of turn 3. He basically flipped this Rhino over and the contents got spilled out here. We're about ready to get some close combat. We've been kind of avoiding it. He kind of backed his guys up over there. But we're on to my turn 4. My turn 3. Alright, so this is the end of my turn 3. Thunderwolf Cav kind of whiffed coming into the difficult terrain and they're not getting to where they need to be. This one moved forward. I fired every missile launcher and last cannon into this Termi squad and a couple of multi-meltas or a couple of meltaguns.
And it was the bolters.
And it was the bolters that did the most damage. I also Livy Lightning this squad out of here. They are broken run, but they're out of the building, which means not shooting at me. I'm moving on to my opponent's turn. Alright, so the game is taking a swing here. End of 4. He's basically wiped out that squad. There's 2 guys here. Took the tank out here. I'm down to 2 guys here, but Thunderwolf Cav are getting close. I think they're going to be the swing of the game. I just got to get them there. Alright, so my Rhino with the traitor came in. He came in over here, fired into the squad, killed 2 guys. These guys did nothing. These guys killed off 1 more Terminator, but they're going to get eaten. I packed up the Long Fangs and decided that that is not going to be fun to fight. So they're over here. Thunderwolf Cav are finally out of difficult terrain and over here, and their brothers are in front. We'll see how it goes. My opponent's turn 5. So the end of my opponent's turn 5, he did all the firing he could. The traitor and my power fists are pretty much all that remain.
A lot of missing.
A lot of missing. This squad here stood up strong against Thunderham Storm Shield Terminators. And he blew up that tank and got the contents out and charged it. We're on to my turn 5. Alright, so the Thunderwolf Cav finally made it in. Didn't quite make a kill point that I was hoping to. Down here, I still survived. I lost a Rune Priest. This one's almost over, but we're going to go ahead and roll it for see if it's turn 6. And there will be a turn 6. So my opponent's turn. Alright, so we're getting time called. This is going to be our last turn for turn 6. Did nothing basically. Close combat, I'm still stuck here, but he's still going to beat me. He took this squad out. Fended off with a few cover saves. The traitor is still in there. Thunderwolf Cav still in with the champs. It should be fun. We'll see how turn 6 goes. Alright, so I managed to save some kill points. This guy here did not die, so there's the save kill point. He did not get the traitor, so I think that might keep it from a massacre. And my lord and 1 Thunderwolf Cav survived, so we're going to start counting up kill points and see. So we had a disappointing loss for the first one. I lost 7-18. It was a minor defeat. So I think I'm still in the running for possibly placing. Chad got massacred. Logan also had an 8-18 or 8-17. So we're still in it, but we didn't take wins on the top ones, so that's going to put us in some lesser tables, I hope. we'll see. Talk to you after beginning. So round 2, I'm playing Grey Knights. Cycleman Dreadnought hanging out there. Termi with some Paladins. Land Raider with some Paladins. Vindicator Assassin. There's some more stuff that hasn't come in yet. Here's my deployment. Long Fangs, Razorbacks. Should be fun. He's going ahead and moving into his turn 1. Get back to you. Okay, his turn 1 went pretty quick. He managed to immobilize that Razorback, and I wasn't going to move it anyway. And he pinged off a Long Fang. My return phase. Okay, so my first turn is done. The Vindicator that was back here is dead, and the Cycleman's Dread is dead. Blew a weapon off of the Land Raider, and he's rolling for reserves as we speak for his turn 2.
A lot of Terminators without the hammer.
Okay, my opponent's turn 2. The only thing came down was that large Paladin squad. He did go in and chew up some Thunderwolf Cav, so we will see how this goes. My turn. Alright, so I blew away some of these guys, put them in difficult terrain and dangerous terrain. He force weaponed my Lord over there. I did try to stop it, but it didn't happen. We'll see how it goes. His turn.
This will be 3.
This will be turn. Alright, so my opponent brought in these beautiful little Grey Knight Termies. These guys did some shooting, pinged off a couple of Long Fangs, and they finished up the Thunderwolf Cav. I've got one retreating, but he's going to be in range to be able to turn and maybe do some good. My turn 3. Alright, so
it's still there.
It's still there, but it's only got the bolter and the heavy bolter. We'll whittle this squad down to 4. Captain's only got 1 wound left. Dumped the Pyro Fist guy, who's probably going to die this turn anyway, into the Land Raider. Blew a weapon off. That was about it. Moving on to my opponent's turn. Alright, so my opponent's turn 4 is complete. Basically what he did was take out that final Pyro Fist guy. The Dread Knight's in. His other squad's over here is holding an objective. We're moving on to my turn. Alright, so this squad rolled over, popped out, took out 2 of the Grey Knights over here. We did some shooting at the Dread Knight, but did nothing. Moving over to contest some objectives. Moving on to my opponent's turn 6. It's the last turn. I would have been proud of it. Alright, so we determined my opponent's turn 5, so there's going to be at least 2 more. He took care of this squad pretty well. They're breaking. They're going to end up taking off. These guys here hopped over into the Land Raider, probably to at least attempt to contest, maybe score. We'll see how it goes. That squad blew up the Rhino, ran in there. My turn 5. Alright, so at the end of my turn 5, these guys hopped out, took out 1 more of the Grey Knights over here. Fired some shots into that thing and only put a wound on it. Fired into them, did nothing, whiffed with all my Meltas. That's it, my opponent's turn 6, his last turn. Alright, so my opponent's turn 6, he is still holding that objective for the moment, but I intend to change that. He wiped out most of the squad there running, and he pushed back towards the objective, but I intend to move forward and contest it, at least. And he wiped out that squad over there and is moving over. That should be about it. My turn 6. Alright, so my turn 6, I took out this last Paladin. I've got this objective. I'm contesting the one in the middle. Got the 2 points over here. He's got 1 point over there. I've got this game won. It's trying to figure out how much I've got it by. Thank you very much. So I ended up with a major victory in that one. I didn't get any of the bonus points because he was kind enough to hold them away from me. So 17 points. He got 1 of the bonus points. So that puts me at 1-1. I'm not sure where that puts me, but I think it gives me a shot for maybe placing at 3rd. We'll see. I'll get back to you when we start round 3. Alright, so I'm back on this table for round 3. I'm going to be playing a Tau opponent. We are in the upper part of the mid-range. Like, we're not on the top 3 tables. I think this is actually table 4. So we still have a shot at placing, I think. Dawn of War, and this is the HQ unit worth double. I'll get back to you after my opponent's deployment and mine, and we'll see how we do. So my opponent's turn 1, basically he deployed over here, took a shot at my Rhino, did nothing. We're moving on to my turn 1. Okay, so the end of my turn 1, these guys got out, pistoled and charged into the recruit, wiped them out. He took out 2 of my guys. Everything else is on the board, has popped smoke, and are chilling into cover. We'll see how his turn 2 goes. He's got a lot of reserves. Alright, so my opponent's turn 2, they pushed in over here. Every gun in the army basically fired at that squad. They're down to 2 and they made their save. I'm moving on to my turn 2. Okay, so I had an awesome turn of shooting on my turn 2. Brought down that devilfish, that squad's out. That thing's stunned, immobilized, has no weapons. This one, is this one still around?
Yeah, it's still going.
Okay, that one's still going. Tank shot that squad back there and they ran off the table, so moving on to my opponent's turn. Alright, so on my opponent's turn, he basically finished off that squad and stunned that tank, and immobilized that one, and stunned that one. That's pretty much all we did. We're moving on to my turn 3. Okay, so at the end of my my 3rd turn, I basically moved the Thunderwolf Cav forward. I blew the gun off of that one, killed a whole bunch of those fire warriors back there. I stunned that one up so it's not shooting, knocked down that one. The squad and the commander that was here, they're all gone. On to my opponent's turn. Okay, my opponent basically immobilized and blew the weapon off that tank. Immobilized and blew the weapon off that tank. That's pretty much about it. I think he did kill a couple Marines, but yeah, he killed a couple Marines here and he moved this one forward. So we're moving on to my turn 4. Alright, so the end of my turn 5, I punched down that old transport there. His one fast attack choice is still sitting here. Wiped out the one squad and shooting, took out a few over here. Ate that Crute squad and staring down some broadsides. That's oh, and stunned up that hammerhead one more time. Moving on to my opponent's turn. Okay, so we're at the bottom of 5. This squad over here, I killed off one of the drones. He's still holding in there. They fired some shots in the Thunderwolf Cav, but they're about ready to take a whole bunch in the face. Moving on to my turn. Alright, so Thunderwolf Cav came in, took out the broadsides. These guys are over here. He doesn't really have much left. His commander with all the extra points is hiding out back there. I don't know that I'm going to be able to reach him. We're going to roll to see if we can do this. Anything but a 2. It's a 1. Alright, so I took 21 to 1 full massacre, so I don't know how that's going to do. There were a couple guys in the 30s, so if I'm lucky I hit 3rd. I doubt it. But we'll see, guys. Evil Ed 209 here with my final evaluation of round 1 of Ard Boyz 2011. I ended up taking 4th out of 18 players, so that's not that bad. It was actually a pretty good showing. I was pretty happy with the way it turned out. Overall, I ended up hitting a couple of rocks to my scissors. 2 armies with 2 up saves, Terminators and Terminator invul saves that were able to take out my Long Fangs. They were pretty much ineffective. They did not have vehicles, so my army was built geared up to fight light mech, chimeras, rhinos, Dark Eldar, and I didn't see any of it. So I was actually lucky to be able to pull off a minor loss and a major victory in my first 2 games. My hat's off to my opponents. They really did really well. I really had a good time. Gatehouse Games, fantastic location. I'm kind of jealous that I don't have a game store like that near me, to be honest with you. And to my man Brad, who ended up my first round opponent, who ended up taking 1st place. Good luck next round. I really enjoyed our game, and I really had a lot of fun. His army, he had 26 Terminators. What was I going to do? 26 Terminators and no tanks to shoot at, so my Long Fangs had nothing to shoot at. I only had a couple of AP2 weapons in the last cannons, but he was going to take those out rather quickly. And he countered my Thunderwolf Cav by just running away from him. My second round opponent had a very similar strategy. He played Grey Knights, had 1 Dreadnought and a Land Raider, and no other vehicles whatsoever, so the Long Fangs were pretty ineffective. My long-range shooting was pretty ineffective, and when it came down to it, both my first and second round opponents, it was who was going to beat me in hand-to-hand, and those 2 armies are better, so I got lucky to do what I did. As for my third round opponent, Tyler, I think his name was, he made a very, very critical mistake in the very opening turns. Whenever we set up, he put down his army. He said, oh, you know, I tried to seize the initiative and failed. He said, okay, so I'm not moving. I'm going to shoot. I'm going to make my assault move. Okay, here's your turn. I kind of assumed that he was putting all of his stuff in reserves. So when I started moving my stuff on turn 1, he went, oh, I didn't know you could do that in Dawn of War. So I don't think that he intended to leave his entire army in reserves, and it was a critical mistake that I don't think that he was able to recover from. I felt bad, but it was a tournament game. If it would have been a friendly game, it would have been something else, but at that point, he'd already shot, he'd already moved in the assault phase. It was beyond the time that we could actually have gone back and started over again. In the end, I had a great time. It's a fantastic location. Anyone gets the opportunity to check it out. I believe the town's name is Duncansville, Pennsylvania, and the place is called Gatehouse Games. Fantastic. They had a lot of good tables. The owner was awesome. I had a lot of fun there. Really wish I had done better and had not gotten bumped out in round 1 again 2 years in a row, but there's always next year. So thanks a lot. That's my eval for Ard Boyz 2011.